If you want to learn how this client went from exactly 0 a year ago all the way up now to 26,000 visitors per month with a traffic value of $64,000 per month, then make sure you watch to the end of this video. I'm going to share with you everything we did. Now, I'll be completely honest, every time we sign a really big client, it's quite difficult to celebrate because no strategy works 100% of the time. And while we have a really good success rate, and the vast majority of our clients do see really good ROI, there are unfortunately inevitably those who underperform. And despite our best efforts, we just can't get Google to fall in love with that site. So when a particularly big client comes along, there's always a temptation to celebrate, but I just can't do it. I'm so invested in my client's success. There's always that fear and apprehension of, what if this one doesn't work out? And the issue with SEO in general and running an SEO agency is, of course, the amount of time you have to invest to get anywhere. So most of our clients have to go through a waiting period of around 6 months before they start to see real gains. And then the bigger gains really come a year later. So for the first 6 months, you're not really going to see much at all. From 6 to 12 months, you'll start to see a bit, but then it's from 12 months onwards that everything starts to take off. So you can imagine my concern with this client, where month after month, we were seeing small increases in traffic, but really not a lot going on. And then thankfully in the summer, we started to see a bit of an uptick. So we were getting up to 2,000-3,000 visitors per month and a traffic value of around $2,500. Now, traffic value is often a very important metric to look at. It's basically what that traffic would cost if you had bid for it with Google Ads. So this traffic organically is coming from ranking for keywords. Now you've got choices with keywords. You can either rank for them organically over time, or you can bid to get those clicks on Google Ads. But because you've got a market and everyone else is bidding on those keywords, there's a CPC, there's a cost per click for each of those clicks determined by the market. And so although the Ahrefs estimate isn't infallible, it basically suggests that at this point, to get 1,800 visitors a month for these keywords would cost around $2,600 per month. But then everything started falling into place. And we can see this rapid increase over the following few months until ultimately reaching a peak on the 19th of October with 26,000 monthly visitors and a traffic value of $63,000. So what that means is for this client to maintain this level of traffic using ads rather than organic would cost $63,000 per month. Now, of course, that traffic value is determined by the market. The market wouldn't pay for those keywords unless it was getting ROI from them. So traffic is just a vanity metric, but the fact this traffic is worth so much if it were acquired from Google Ads, that tells us we're saving this client $63,000 a month in ad spend because they now own that traffic and will continue to own that traffic far into the future. And of course, to get this level of organic traffic has been a much smaller monthly fee than the ad cost would have been. So for a few $1,000s a month in SEO spend, 9 months later, they now get $64,000 worth of value every single month. And that's likely to keep on increasing. So how did we do it? Well, this client was in the medical niche with an e-com store. So the main thing from our part was the link building. So for those who aren't aware, one of the most important parts of SEO is getting backlinks from other websites. This goes back to the early days of Google where, yes, you want to target the right keywords, target the right stuff, using the right content. But then how does Google decide who should go higher up? Votes from other websites, links from other websites are the most important factor. And despite loads of speculation that that doesn't work anymore, or it's changing, or it's not as important anymore, it's when you see graphs like these that you can see that's just not true. Backlinks remain essential. So you can see ever since this client signed up with the blue line, we've been building a consistent volume of links every month. So back in February, we had just 10, and then in June, we had 79, and today we have 155. So you can see very natural increase in the backlinks over time. We've not done peaks and troughs. We've not significantly increased the link building or decreased the link building. We've just delivered a consistent volume of links every month. And part of that is called link velocity, where Google wants to see that consistency over time. Yes, you can build a load of backlinks in the beginning and try and front load it, but you'll get a lot more benefit if you spread them out over time to show this consistency that you are consistently good, consistently winning links from other websites. And like I say, big time delay with SEO. So we're building these links, and as usual, a few months in, results not starting to show yet. I'm getting understandably tense, despite the fact we're using the same process, the same techniques that's yielded big successes for other clients. But then come the summer, it started to pay off. And then in just a few months from June onwards, we go from 1,000 visitors a month and $926 in traffic value to 26,000 visitors a month and $63,000 in traffic value. So it does work. Just focus on the fundamentals, write the right content, build the right links, and you've got a high chance of success. If you want our help with getting similar results yourself, then I'll leave a link below. Go to seojesus.com/apply. There's an explanation of our service here, everything we include. It's heavily productized. I don't like the way most SEO agencies will charge for strategy and not actually deliver any work. So like I say, SEO is content and links. We give you content and links. It's as simple as that. And then underneath you can see more case studies and proof of how that works. And these are actual Search Console accounts. So you can see I'm not just grabbing random Ahrefs screenshots from any website I might never have touched. These are Search Console accounts we actually have access to, in many cases getting millions of visitors per year. And then a few testimonials there, further FAQs about the service, and of course you can apply here. We do get quite busy, we want to stay small and boutique style, so I encourage you to apply even if you're not ready yet, just to reserve your place in the queue. Now it's all very well talking about backlinks, what do these actually look like? I've talked about this loads of times on my channel. I'll leave a link below to a playlist all about link building. We basically scrape all the competitors in the niche, reach out to all those websites using cold email, and then negotiate them. And you'll generally find only a small number will get back to you, and even then a lot of those will be links you don't actually want. Generally, I think this is the safest method of link building because you're taking the backlink profiles of your competitors that are performing. So if these backlinks are working for your competitors, then they're very likely to work for you as well. Whereas if you just go onto Fiverr and spend $50 on backlinks there, there's no guarantee those links are going to be safe. So we have a range of quality checks we go through to make sure those links are all going to be good. And maybe your competitor did a link building campaign 5-10 years ago, and therefore a lot of those links might not be very good anymore. So of those responses, we typically try and filter out, so we're only working with the top 10-20%. So to be more specific, they should have a minimum of 1,000 traffic per month, which has got increasingly difficult ever since the helpful content update, now that lots of content websites have found their traffic really reduced, but it's still possible if you keep working. And we want a minimum domain rating of 30. So you might have heard of domain authority. It's how powerful that website actually is, and therefore how much power you're going to get from it. After that, the contextual relevance of the link helps a lot. So I published a video the other day talking about niche relevance. People get the idea that every single link you build has to come from a website that's really closely related to your niche. And the fact is, if you do that, you're just going to run out of links. Your competitors aren't going to link to you. All those other businesses in your niche are probably too busy to give you a link and worrying about some sort of exchange in order to get that link. So I'm not too concerned about the overall domain relevance. That's a big misconception that's come up in the market over the last few years. Google is mainly looking at the page and the contextual relevance of the page. So we actually write these articles using correlational tools, which basically means this is an SEO optimized article that could actually rank. So we're placing these articles on powerful websites. These articles are heavily SEO optimized for your target keywords. So there's a good chance that article could actually rank on Google itself and generate its own traffic. But it also makes your link much more powerful. So in my case, this is my link to SEO Jesus. We can see we have targeted anchor text of SEO for small businesses because I want to rank for SEO for small businesses. And then from the recent Google leak, we've seen a lot of further information about how the text around the link also matters a lot. So we've got SEO strategies, we've got affordable SEO. So all these little contextual relevance, which is really good when you're writing an article on your website. Of course, that still applies when you're building backlinks. All of this makes this link much more powerful. And so we do that on repeat. And like I say, it takes consistency, and you've got to be doing it consistently every month. And like I say, reply rates do tend to be quite small. So here's some of our campaigns. We've sent often 400 or 500 emails at a time. We'll get generally a 40% open rate, and then 5, 10, 20% actually respond. But remember, a lot of those are going to be automatic responses, out of offices, or just responses from websites we don't actually want that link from. So once we get that response, that's when we have to go back and forth and decide on a deal. And once we've got that deal, we then make sure that's a quality link with the right anchor text placed on an optimized page. Part of that also helps with what's called reputation research, where if you go through the manual quality rater guidelines, these are people who are hired by Google around the world to check in on your website manually and assess if it's a good website. And part of their checklist, you can find these documents publicly available. They are told to actually look for how the internet talks about your website. So they're specifically told to search for your brand name and not include results from your website. So it wants to look at how other websites are talking about you. So that can be reviews, articles. I've done a full video on that here. But basically what it means is not only are we getting the power of the backlink here, but we are helping with that reputation research because we're getting more publications to talk positively about our brand. And like I say, it's just rinse and repeat. In this case, this was an e-com store in the medical niche. I've done lots of content on Ecommerce SEO, so you want to make sure your category pages are well optimized. So eliminating any empty category pages, especially if you're using Shopify. It's quite easy to accidentally create these extra category and collection pages that don't really have many products on them. So stick to a small number of well-populated categories and then have content on those category pages, because what you'll generally find is when you search for an e-commerce search term, it tends to be category pages that are actually ranking a lot of the time. And although Google's getting better at seeing this whole list of products on the site, you can really help it out if you put optimized text on the collections pages saying, this is a page all about this product, and therefore we have this archive of products you can buy. Now, one of the big successes this client did was basically 2 types of keyword. And as you've now watched to the end of this video, I'm happy to share those with you. One of the big ones is versus keywords. Now, this generally works really well in the software niche, where you've already got brand names out there that have already got an established brand and they've got search volume. And understandably, people will be comparing one versus the other. So those versus keywords generally tend to be less competitive than the best X for Y type keywords. So if you're trying to rank for the ecom product, that's great, but it's quite competitive. Whereas if you rank for the keyword that's this product versus this product, then that tends to be very high volume but quite low competition, but also very transactional. That's someone who is in the funnel ready to buy, and they're just deciding between the final 2. So not only can you get a lot of traffic, but it's also traffic that's very likely to actually buy. The other type of keyword that's really good in the medical niche is before and after. So you can see a long list of these here: Botox before and after, Starlight before and after, buccal fat removal before and after, veneers before and after. So I wouldn't generally say this is as transactional. That's probably someone who's higher in the funnel, still in the consideration phase before they've decided to commit. But you can see huge volumes here. So veneers before and after, 17,000 searches a month. And actually there's still a CPC value there, or $1.30. That's a very good way of working out how transactional the query is, because you'll probably find if people are bidding on it with Google Ads, then there's a reason for that, and they expect to actually sell using that keyword, and therefore it's worth ranking for organically. But as usual, exercise some skepticism here, look at the actual search results. In this case, I don't really think you're going to sell much with Zac Efron before and after, even though it's 15,000 searches a month with a keyword difficulty of 1, and there's no CPC value there. So perfect example there. Don't rank for Zac Efron. If you enjoyed this video, please comment Zac Efron below, because it will help with the algorithm, but also it'll be a great laugh.